Module 1, Uniform Rules for Digital Trade Transactions. The International Chamber of Commerce, URDTT, provides rules for the digital trade transactions between buyers and sellers worldwide. The URDTT is a new global standard for trade transactions. The URDTT provides a framework that applies to each party or person that participates in a digital trade transaction. The digital transformation of trade requires a new way of thinking. Rapid evolutions in new technology are changing how we view trade and supply chain finance. Businesses are looking for solutions that will deliver visibility within their supply chain ecosystem. Financiers are looking for tools to optimize their use of capital. The URDTT rules that use digital and electronic records rather than paper documents. Transactions for a purchase of goods and services use evidence of movement, value, content, and quality electronically. The ICC Uniform Rules for Digital Trade Transactions are intended for a fully digital environment, to be neutral with regard to technology and messaging standards, and to extend into the corporate space, including commercial transactions and the growing community of non-bank providers of financial services. A digital trade transaction is a process as agreed between the principal parties, whereby electronic records are used to evidence the underlying sale and purchase of goods or services and the incurring of a payment obligation. The ICC Uniform Rules for Digital Trade Transactions are the first universal rules for completing digital trade transactions online. The URDTT articles define the rules for digital trade transactions. These rules apply for buyers and sellers worldwide to use the internet for trade. Article 1, Scope. Article 1 of the Uniform Rules for Digital Trade Transactions provide a framework that applies to each party or person that participates in a digital trade transaction. Article 2, Definitions. Beneficiary means a seller. Buyer means a purchaser of goods or services. Electronic record means data stored by electronic means. Electronic signature means the identity, the party or person, and to indicate authentication. Financial services provider, FSP, means a financial institution or a person other than a principal party. An FSP payment undertaking means an undertaking to effect payment to the beneficiary of a payment obligation. Obligor means a buyer that incurs a payment obligation, and party means a buyer or seller of a financial service provider. Payment obligation means an obligation incurred by a buyer. Person means any type of person or entity, whether physical, corporate, or other legal person or entity. Principal party means a buyer or a seller. Seller means a seller of goods or services. A buyer means a purchaser of goods or services. The role of a seller includes the delivery of goods or the supply of services, providing information required to enable the delivery of goods, and providing any additional information, including electronic records of certificate of inspection and insurance. The role of a buyer includes taking delivery of goods or receiving services, and incurring an unconditional payment obligation and effecting payment. The role of a financial service provider provides finance to a beneficiary or buyer, effecting payment to a beneficiary. Payment obligation is incurred by the buyer upon delivery of goods and services by a seller. There may be more than one FSP payment undertaking that can be added to a payment obligation, such as the ultimate buyer of the goods. Payment obligation buyer, POB. The POB document is used for digital trade transactions to evidence the payment obligation to the beneficiary. FSP Payment Undertaking Financial, or PUF. The PUF is used to transfer a payment obligation to the financial service provider. The financial service provider entity can be a person, corporation, fintech, or financial institution such as a bank. In summary, universal digital trade transaction rules for buyers and sellers. No banks need to be involved, no courier delays in payment, no paper in the transaction. iTrade Digital incorporates the ICC URDTT rules on its platforms.